Hello, ma'am, and today we are presenting on motivation process theory of motivation. Process theory explains how people get motivated, what makes them take action, unlike content theories that ask what motivates us. Process theory asks how motivation happens. Some common process theories include expectance theory, equity theory, and goal setting theory. Today, I will talk about reinforcement theory, which is an important process theory. Reinforcement theory is based on B.F. Skinner's idea of operational conditioning. The main idea is that our behavior is shaped by its consequences. If an action leads to reward or positive outcome, we are likely to do it again. If an action leads to punishment or negative outcome, we are likely to avoid it. This theory is different from others. Motivation theory because it focuses only on what people do, not feel inside. Good behaviors get repeated, bad behavior stops. For example, if an employee meets a sales targets and receives bonus, they are likely to work harder again. But if someone is criticized for being late, they will not repeat it again. In the workplace, reinforcement theory is very useful. Positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment extension. Positive reinforcement gives rewards like bonuses, promotion, appraisal, and recognition to encouraging good behavior. Negative reinforcement removes unpleasant condition when the right behavior happens, like lifting strict supervision once an employee improves. Punishment, giving warnings, reducing privileges, or applying consequences to reduce unwanted behavior. Extension, ignoring behavior that you don't want it repeated, like not giving attention to minor mistakes. By using these techniques, manager can shape employees' behavior, improve productivity, and create a positive work environment. Reinforcement theory can also help us motivate ourselves. Reward yourself when completing tasks like taking a short break, having a snack, or enjoying something you like. Setting consequences for procrastinating, like reducing your screen time until the work is done. Track progress. Setting small success can act a positive reinforcement and keep your motivation. For example, if you finish your study goal for the day, reward yourself with a small walk or a favorite snack. This makes you more likely to continue studying constantly. To Reinforcement theory teaches us motivations come from the result of our action. Rewards encourages good behavior while punishes while punishment reduces bad behavior. It works in
Good evening to one all present here. I, Merlin Joshi, would like to tell about the reinforcement theory in the organization. That is a practical applications and the limitations. So in this slide, it introduces the topic of your presentation that tells how it explores the reinforcement theory, a concept from the behavioral psychology that applies the organizational settings, especially how it influences the employee's motivation and the performances. At the same time, it highlights and discusses will not be focusing only on the theory application but also in the limitations that has the balanced academic approaches that creates interest and the set of context that what it follows. Now, I would like to now we would like to I would like to tell about the introduction to the enforcement of the theory. Here, the behavioral psychologist that focuses how the behavioral is influences by its consequences. So here, the positive outcomes strengthen decides the behavior. Negative outcomes weakens the undecided behaviors. Manager uses the principles to modify the shape of the performances. Here, the slide that has a foundation of theory, that is a BF Skinner's reinforcement theory, also knows the the conducting of suggestions that the people tend to repeat the actions that leads to rewards and avoids the actions to leads to punishment. Here are some of the key points that have a positive reinforcement and the negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement tells us about the rewarding to encourage the behavior, that is price and the promotion. At the same time, it tells about the negative reinforcement, that is removing the unpleasant conditions, how it desires the behavior occurs. For example, a less supervises after the good performances. So the third slide tells about the practical applications in the organization, how the managers applies the enforcement in the several ways, that is recognition of the programs, bonus promotions, removing the micromanagement once the performances improves, negative reinforcement, disciplinary actions reduces the poor performances. At the end, the encouragement or it encourages the cultural where the good behavior is rewarded and the poor behavior is declined. Here, the reinforcement, how it implements.
I will talk about Potter and Lawler motivation model. Potter and Lawler model is an extension of Vroom's expectancy theory. It's explain how motivation leads to performance and satisfaction. The key components of Potter and Lawler motivation models are effort, performance, rewards, and satisfaction. Firstly, effort. Effort is an energy an employee is willing to put in. It depends on expectancy and balance. Expectancy means beliefs that effort will lead to performance, and balance means value of the reward. For example, if the person Ravi study hard for a certification because he believes that is expectancy. It will help him perform better at work and he values the promotion he will get. That is value of reward. Next is performance. Performance is efforts lead to perform when combined with ability and role clarity. Ability refers the skills to do the job and role clarity means understanding what is expected. For example, Ravi uses his skills and knowledge to complete the certification successfully, meeting all the deadlines and quality standards. That is performance. And next is reward. Reward reward means good performance leads to reward. Reward there are two kind of rewards: intrinsic reward and extrinsic reward. Intrinsic reward means sense of achievement, recognition. That's kind of are intrinsic reward, and extrinsic reward means promotion, bonus incentives. That's called extrinsic rewards. For example, Ravi received recognition from his manager, that is intrinsic, and a salary increases for his excellent work, that is extrinsic. Next is satisfaction. When rewards are seen as fair and valuable, employee feels satisfied. For example, Ravi feels proud and motivated because of his hard work was recognized and rewarded. That's called satisfaction. These are four models, four process of Potter and Lawler model of motivation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will be explaining the Porter and Lawler model of motivation, which builds upon the Worm's expectancy theory. This model was developed by Lyman Porter and Edward Lawler to provide a more realistic and comprehensive understanding of motivation in workplace. Here is these both are explaining like according to Porter and Loyler, motivation is not simple cause and effect relationship between effort and satisfaction. Instead, the believed the performance does not automatically lead to the satisfaction. Rather, performance lead to the certain rewards. The rewards like when perceived as fair and valuable by the individual create a sense of satisfaction. The model highlights that motivation depends on three key links. The three key links is like this: effect, performance, and rewards. Effort refers to the amount of energy someone puts into the work. This effort is influenced by how much the value the person attaches to the reward. And for second one is like performance, what we call expectancy. Performance in turn depends not only on effort but also on the person's abilities, skills, and understanding of their role. So even if someone is highly motivated, unclear roles or lack of ability can block performance. Finally, the performance lead to rewards. These rewards can be intrinsic, such as feeling of achievement, and extrinsic, like bonus and promotion. In simple terms, the model suggests that satisfaction is the result of fair rewards, not just of doing the job well. When people feel that their rewards match their efforts and performance, they become more motivated to the performance even better in future. Our last in the last the both we summarize both models views like motivation as a complex process involving effort, abilities, performance, rewards, and satisfaction. All is linked through the perfections and fairness and value. And concludes my part. Next, member 5 will explain how the theory works in practice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Neha Yadav and I will be talking about the types of reinforcement and applications. Continuing with reinforcement theory, there are four main types of reinforcement. First is positive reinforcement, which means giving a reward to encourage good behavior. For example, praising an employee for meeting deadlines or giving a bonus for high performance. The second type is negative reinforcement, which means removing something unpleasant to encourage the good behavior. For example, if an employee improves attendance, you stop monitoring them strictly. The third type is punishment, which means giving unpleasant consequences to discourage bad behavior. For example, warning or salary deduction for repeated mistakes. The fourth and the last type is extinction, which means ignoring or removing the rewards that maintain undesirable behavior. For example, responding to unnecessary complaints reduces that behavior. Reinforcement helps managers shape and maintain desired behavior in the workplace. Managers must choose the right reinforcement method and apply it constantly to be effective. Thank you.
Myself, Nikhil Gowda. So let's summarize what we have discussed. Reinforcement theory explains that behavior is shaped by its consequences. People repeat actions that bring rewards and avoid those bring punishments. Managers can use positive and negative reinforcement to guide employees' behavior effectively. Porter's and Lawler's model combines ideas from expectancy and reinforcement theory. It shows that motivation leads to performance, performance leads to awards, and rewards create satisfaction if they are fair and valuable. Managerial implications provides fair and timely rewards linked to performance. Rewards linked to performance use reinforcement techniques to encourage positive behavior. Recognize both rewards. Understand that satisfaction results from performance, not the other way around. In short, these processes theory helps managers create a work environment where effort, performance, and satisfaction all are connected, leading to motivated and productive employees. Thank you all for listening.